It's unique to you. It's what you believe. It's where you are with this important matter of the gospel and stewardship and how it all sort of fits together and what it has to do, frankly, with my life and the life of any church or Christian. And that would be your theology at this hour of stewardship. Now, it may not be permanent. It may grow and evolve and be different in time. But for right now, it's kind of where you are with all of this. Your thoughts, your ideas, your attitudes, your feelings about this whole question. And that's kind of a snapshot of where you are with stewardship. It's your theology or your story in a sense. Now, having said that, I want to move on to this other piece. And so I would want you to think about that and maybe flesh it out as you go. I want to move on to practicing Canvas objectives and the like. The model that I think is useful for churches of all sizes is a model that includes structuring a design for reaching out to the parishioners. That I'm going to hand out some of these from both ends, and it's not all that critical, but it helps you design stuff. A model that helps you sort of organize your congregation in a way that would allow them to maybe pretty much cover the whole parish to think through stewardship and have a canvas that actually works. And the basic idea behind it is you take the congregation, the parish list, all the families that are included, and you structure a way, and that will explain how to do it, structure a way to have certain number of people kind of be your key captains, we used to call it, and they will kind of spearhead it. A lot of times they'll be vestry members, but how, or whatever you call your group now, board members or however it's phrased. And then you have other people that are willing to help a little bit, particularly if what you're asking them to do is not too awkward or embarrassing for them. So it's not some kind of weird thing where you go in and just ring the doorbell and whittle them down. Just do what it takes and that kind of thing. But rather, it is something that's very easy to do. And once you structure it, you know kind of what a captain could do, what a canvasser would do. I could give you more information about that, but I don't really want to get into it right now. Then you would say, okay, if I were willing in my congregation to take 4, say, pledge cards and get them out, distributed and into a home and get them back to the church office so the treasurer and the vestry can build a budget, what would I be asked to do if I rang the doorbell and did it? And so I have sort of a thought about that. And I offer it to you for what it is worth. If it's not something that blesses you, I have every confidence that you'll do what you want. And you'll do something. And you'll either find this part mercifully short and over, or you'll say, maybe I could use some of that. That might be a model that works. And so basically what would happen is there would come a Sunday in which everybody knows, because the sermon's been preached, and everybody knows we're going to kind of sweep out and hit everybody in the congregation, get these pledge cards out so that everybody at least has an opportunity and an invitation to invest in God's agenda through the local congregation. They'll do what they want to do. But in that scenario, I'll help get the cards out, and I'll help get them back in, particularly if it's only 4. I don't want to do a lot of them. I'll do a little bit. And so that type of thing. And so you would make a canvas call. There's certain things I wished you would do. I would put, if you flip the card over, your index card, and write yes on one side and no on the other and put a line down the middle. There's some things I would like for you to do, and there's some other things I would prefer that you not do. And yet I know, as I say, that you'll do what you want to do, but I still would suggest certain things that would help me. And the first thing I would do is what will happen is you'll get in the car after lunch on Sunday, and you'll crank it up, and you'll drive over to the first address, and a little hard, be pitter-patter, and you'll walk up the sidewalk and ring the doorbell. A lot of times people have a word of prayer right there as they ring the doorbell. But in spite of your prayer, more than likely they'll be there. So they'll come to the door, and they'll open it. They will open the door, and they'll say, yes, what do you want? And I would like for you to introduce yourself and state your purpose. So introduce yourself and give your purpose. My name is Chuck Murphy. I represent, in this analogy, I would say, St. Andrews. And I was asked to help out with the stewardship effort this year, and I was given your home and 3 others to swing by and drop this card off, and then leave it and be done with it. And I just want to need you for just 6 or 8 minutes. That's why I'm here. And so the second thing I would like for you to do is to write the word 6 to 8 minutes. And the reason I would like for you to do 6 or 8 minutes is as much as I want you to be in that room, and then I want you to go away. Put it another way, it would be that if you do what I would like for you to do, it won't take but 6 or 8 minutes. So that means if you are heading back to the car in 2 minutes, you probably didn't do what I thought would be a good thing to do. And if you're still in there 15 minutes later, I don't know what you're doing, and probably would be very nervous if I knew. So I'm really saying a really short time frame. And so when you ring the doorbell and they say, yeah, who are you? Chuck Murphy, represent the parish. Oh, yeah, I know who you are. Come on in. It's just 6 or 8 minutes. It's easy for a second. And then they would be so grateful as you walked off and headed back to the car that he really meant it. He's gone. He was here for 7 minutes and he's gone. God bless you. The next thing I would like for you to do is to tell your story. What that is what you wrote on the other side of the index card just now. And what that basically means is, I've been wrestling with stewardship. I was invited to be a part of this stewardship teaching and theology session, and we've been wrestling with it in this scenario. We had these little videos that they prepared, and we listened to the video and kicked it around and answered and did whatever we did. And I guess if I learned anything through that whole series, I pretty much learned blah, 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 blah. You know, I kind of learned that tithing actually has something to do with the gospel. And frankly, I used to just think tithe meant pledge. Well, actually, it's an old English word, means tenth. And so it's like a proportionate kind of gift and whatever. And I used to always think and feel and have an attitude with stewardship that was da-da-da-da-da-da. But I don't know. Now I'm starting to think maybe blah, blah, blah. And then ultimately, I see myself heading off in another direction as a result of what I've come to discover and learn about stewardship and its relationship to the gospel. And we did that here at our local church. And we did it through this video series. And I think it was kind of interesting in this, or I'm being awfully complimentary of the series. I learned nothing. Where I was is where I am, and that's where I intend to stay. Whatever you wrote on the other side of the index card, that's all I want you to, I want you to answer your so what. Whatever it is. And then the last thing I'd want you to do under the yes column is leave the card and go. Now, go away in 6 or 8 minutes. Please just go away. Now, that guy's blessed. That wasn't too painful. And you've kind of shared a little bit of something that you have walked through. If you'd gone to a good movie, if you'd gone to a good play, if you'd seen something interesting on television, if you saw a car wreck, if you had anything that's newsworthy, most of us are able to communicate that and say, kind of, this is what I saw, experienced, or this is what I discovered, learned, or hated, or whatever it is, and you could do that simple thing and then leave. And what you've done, in some ways, you have practiced passing it on. You know, I kind of wrestled with the scripture for hours, looked at it in my own life, saw about my own thoughts and attitudes, began to think maybe I am going to hit the other direction on the interstate or climb down the ladder on the whatever, and I have reasons for that, and I can tell you that in 6 or 8 minutes, and that's just the end of the story, but I'm going to leave the card, and I want you to kind of decide what you're going to do, and we'll come get it later type of thing. Now, there's a no section that I would like for you to have over here, so that if this were to pop in your head when you ring the doorbell and they open it and you identify yourself and state your purpose, don't. Stop talking. Please don't do that. The first thing is no arguing. The way that sometimes looks is, my name is Chuck Murphy. I represent St. Andrew's Parish. I want you to know kind of what we did through this video series. We kind of listened to stewardship and thought about stewardship, wrestled with stewardship, discussed stewardship. I kind of learned some stuff, got a la, 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 la. And the other person says, in effect, yeah, well, that's precious, but I don't believe any of that. I don't want to do any of that, and it's not going to happen. Well, I'm doing this for you, Jesus. Sit down a minute. I'm going to talk to you about the way God is and what He... No, please don't argue. Don't correct them. Don't redirect anything. Be polite if that's their position. If Zacchaeus had said, I don't want to come out of the sycamore tree, Jesus would have left him alone. Okay. I invite you to, but you don't to, that's fine. Don't. So please don't in any way find yourself getting in an argument with somebody over tithe. What are you, Baptist? Where did you hear that concept? You know, I grew up in another denomination, and we don't talk like that, and we don't need to start talking like that. And your job is not to argue with them. Well, obviously you don't know what you're talking about, and you certainly don't know what Scripture is, blah, blah, blah. The other thing I would say is no arm twisting. And the way that usually looks is, in effect, my name is Chuck Murphy. I represent St. Andrews or wherever the church is. And could I have just 6 or 8 minutes time and we'll kind of share with you something of what we kind of do. And then you go in there and you take your little cap and you roll it up and look as hangdog as you can. You talk about, we're trying to do kingdom work in this Anglican mission and we're broke as coots and we don't have any money. We don't know what to do. And if you could just please give more than you gave last year, we might be able to stay afloat. Now, I don't know what you give, but it needs to be a lot more. And I noticed you've got very nice Oriental rugs in here. That's very nice. Anyway, and I'm thinking that, and a nice car parked out in the driveway. I noticed, hey, that's a grand piano. Boy, they don't give those away, do they? Anyway, so I think I'm talking to somebody with some substance here that could do better. And please, if you feel yourself, and you say, yeah, I know, but it works, please don't do it. I'd rather you not do the arm twisting routine. Well, this is kind of getting worthless. That's my best shot. Okay, the third thing I'd like you to do, I would like you to say is no defending the local clergy or vestry or board or whoever they may be. And the way that usually looks is, my name is Chuck Murphy. I'm helping out with this canvas we're doing right now. I was giving your home and 3 or 4 others. Could I have you just 6 or 8 minutes to talk to you? Yeah, right, what? Come on in. And you get in there, and you basically, let me tell you what I learned. Went through a video series, picked up some stuff. I really began to kick around. I began to see how the gospel really does speak into things like stewardship. I began to understand that maybe that has something to do with where the Lord wants to carry and take me from where I'm stuck in my sycamore tree or my tax booth or my boat or my deal and to a better place and another adventure and abundant, whatever you said. I don't know what you said on the other side of the card. But anyway, you finished doing that. So I just wanted you to hear that, and I want you to consider kind of the stewardship theology that I was kind of summarizing for you. And the person ends up saying, well, you know, I thank you for coming by, Chuck. I really do. I want you to know that I'm a tither. I mean, not by your definition, but by the inner spiritual meaning of the word. And it just grieves my heart. But I'm not going to be able to give a plug nickel to St. Andrews. You want to know why? The clergy. They really are losers. I don't understand the decisions that are being made. I don't know why they do what they do. You know, I was in the hospital the other day. Nobody came by to see me. Like, what, do I not matter? Well, that built a memory for me. And I'm going to tell you something else. The sermons are ridiculous. They go on and on and on. And they're ridiculous. They're about this long. I think they probably thought it up on the entrance hymn. And it lasted about the time I thought he was going to say something, he sat down, we hit the creed. I am not going to support any kind of, your job is not, so wait a minute, I like Philip. I think he's swell, and he visits me when I'm sick, I tell you. And so your job is not to get into this. I don't want you to do that. All I wanted you to do, walk in, spend a few minutes, tell a little bit of your story, a little bit about kind of what in the world you've discovered that stewardship has to do with the good news of the gospel, and please get out and go away. You've done it.